Good morning. Today is December, I think it's the 9th. And today I want to talk to you about males becoming men. There's a lot of males out of here that are playboys or just never had an example to know what it meant to be a man. And everybody's still trying to figure it out. At the end of the day, Jesus is the example. And he was sent down here to help us have something to follow, to say, hey, you can do this too. Matter of fact, he said, greater works you shall do also, referring to stuff he did. We'll do stuff greater than he did. So I look at a lot of people in history that have done great works. I don't necessarily know if they were greater than Jesus, but great works. I mean, look at Martin Luther King, look at Malcolm X, look at Obama, look at I don't even say Bill Clinton. At the very least, his marriage stayed together even through all the trials. I mean, there's a lot of people that did great things out here. Look at your parents. There's a lot of great works that are being done out here. And I even say look at your parents because I'm just like, who goes through some of the struggles that they've gone through and are still standing? And that takes me into my message on manhood today, standing. I look at these trees and I'm looking around and observing how these trees bend toward the light. Every branch is bending toward the light. And any branch that does not receive light or produce fruit, guess what? It falls off. Every tree goes through the cycle of seasons. I mean, look at fall. Leaves fall off during the fall. It's a lot of weather, strong winds during the fall, and stuff that can't, and storms happen, spring and fall, and during those different seasons, things fall off. Jesus said, I prune a tree to bear more fruit. If an arborist or somebody at their house is not pruning the trees or bushes, nature itself will produce situations to make things fall off or fall all together. And I even look at the winter where it appears that there's no fruit being produced by the tree. But guess what? The tree is sitting down and resting so that in the spring it's going to produce more fruit. It's still absorbing water. And I'm not a horticulturist or distractions come skim likely when the truth is being delivered. But anyway, I'm not a botanist or heavy in biology, but I wonder if roots are still growing during the wintertime, getting ready for the next growth or emergence or whatever. So I want to read, can I read that? I want to read something to you. And it came to me this morning, and it was Jeremiah 17, and it was Psalms. Anyway, here it is. At some point, males have to learn to be men from other successful men. Successful men follow God and keep getting up when they fall or fail. Success is not measured in your wealth, but can be measured how you got it. The blessing of the Lord makes one rich and adds no sorrow to it. Proverbs 10:22. Not to stray from the thesis, men have to know how to follow God. Trust, hope, planted or standing firm on God's word. Sustained by God in every drought. Bears good fruit. Yields and or submits to God when he does not. Men yield and submit to God when he does not understand God's leadership. And man is rewarded prosperously for meditating and delighting in godly counsel and God's wisdom. Remember, a woman can't stand a man who can't stand by her through her cycles. She won't stand by him when he can't stand by her or sit with her as she goes through her period of trials. Men learn from trees that stand through the seasons of life. He understands that standing through storms also nourishes him with water for his growth, as well as removes dead, weak, or heavy connections. Jeremiah 17:7-10. Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord and whose hope is the Lord. For he shall be like a tree planted by the waters, which spreads out its roots by the river, and will not fear when heat comes. But its leaf will be green, and will not be anxious for the year of drought, nor will cease from yielding fruit. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. That sometimes we don't understand what God is leading us to. Who can know it? Who can know our heart? I, the Lord, search the heart. I test the mind, even to give every man according to his ways, according to the fruit of his doing. Psalms 1:1-3. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor stands in the path of sinners, nor sits in the seat of the scornful, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law he meditates day and night. He shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that brings forth its fruit in its season, whose leaf also shall not wither, and whatever he does shall prosper. Whew, that traffic. I was glad for that traffic because I was able to read. I do not suggest doing that alone. That was not right. Anyway, back to the word. Thank you for letting me use your phone. So, long story short, I failed to provide a good example. Thank you, God, for your grace and mercy. Thank you for no accidents. But, and thank you for allowing me to take that risk. Anyway, with everything that goes on in life, and even if you don't have a woman by your side, you still got to be able to stand through those trials that you go through. Sometimes you're being cultivated into being a better person so that you can attract that mate if that's what you want. Some people, you don't have to get married. You don't have to be in a relationship. But just putting it out there. So at the very least, be able to stand for what you got. At some point, married or not, every man has to stand alone on something, whether it's his dream, whether it's him trying to take care of the household for a certain amount of time, whether it's fighting for something that he knows is right at the job or career, or, whatever it is. So think about who you're following. There's just so many options and opinions out here. There's so many options and opinions out here that can lead us to ways that take us so far off the track of truly living. And life has the gambit of delight, rest, growth, producing fruit, rewards. Those things that were highlighted by both Psalms 1 and Jeremiah 17. But you got to recognize what's in your heart. What's in your heart? And I'm going to tell y'all guys something. When you figure the key test of knowing who your wife is. Now, there's a lot of women out here that are a wife. Not necessarily for you, but are a wife. The true test of the wife that's for you, when you pray with her, what manifests? When you pray with her, what manifests? That's the telltale. And not only that, will she stand by you? Every time you fail, is it a fallout? drop out. That's not, necessarily somebody that's a wife for you, but there can be growth. Sometimes immaturity just need to get out the way. And I'm just saying, you always have a choice in who you choose. So before you decide to choose, look at what God say about the person, because sometimes you can get a seed, an acorn that's gonna grow into a great oak, and sometimes you can get just some detriments. Somebody that's not gonna be an asset to you. So look at it twofold. What does the person have in them? Can you deal with it? Because we all got stuff now. Don't think you perfect. And the other half of it is, do you, is God bringing fruit in your relationship? So I'm just putting that out there. And I'm gonna just say this, guys, learn as much as you can. In this world, let me be careful of that. When I say learn as much as you can, do you need to learn how you gonna get by mixing this and that together? Unless unless that's your field, or you trying to prevent somebody from doing something stupid, be careful what you open the door to. But when I'm saying learn as much stuff that's gonna help you out. Trades. If COVID didn't teach us nothing, a lot of stuff shut down. AAA always gonna be out there, or roadside assistance always gonna be out there when these worlds shut down. Or you always gonna have somebody come out there and change a tire. Just seen too many dudes who don't even know how to change a tire on their car, or put a battery in. Just certain little simple stuff. So, and it's not hard. Hey, pull up a video on it. If we can work out in the gym every day to get our body to be in a certain physical condition, you can cut your own grass. You can rake your own leaves. Just certain things, the same amount of time, and you get probably a better workout. And still stretch before and after. And I'm digressing, but still talking about manhood. And I'm not saying you're less than a man because you don't know how to change a tire. I'm saying you less than a man when your tire needs changing and you had an opportunity to get something done about it, i.e. get some new tires, or get the tire changed, or get the nail plugged, or what have you, but you didn't. You didn't take responsibility when the opportunity arose. You pushed it off to later. So be responsible. Be a king. Have some territory over which you can control. Own property. If you can't own, rent some. If you ain't renting some, hey, be building towards something where you can be the man in that house. Don't always stay with your parents. I ain't saying you can't depend on them, because we all need help sometimes. But your parents should not be your source of livelihood if you're a grown man. You got to be able to step out there and stand on your own 2 feet. And I know it's difficult. I know it's difficult. Me being an entrepreneur, leaving teaching for 18 years and not turning back and not looking back and still moving forward, going through the times of when I like, hey, look, may not be able to keep my daughter or son or whatever, I ain't got no food at the house, that swallowing their pride and let them know who already done, we done parted ways, and probably feel some type of way about you, and you have to humble yourself and say, hey, look, I ain't able to be, man enough to provide for my kids right now, so I need some help. So I get it, but I'm saying that should be rare. It shouldn't be all the time. And if you have somebody